Okay, here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Bwtm Sports Gaming. So we're talking about the Conor Benn, the son of Nigel Benn. He's making his defense of his title on the Matchroom card against Sebastian Formella. For those of you who don't know who Sebastian Formella is, his last fight was against Sean Porter in a complete shutout by Sean Porter. Porter was able to bully Formella all around the ring for the 12 rounds. I think it was for a title elimination bout, and basically hit him from pillar to post. Formella threw a few punches in the fight, but for the most part, typical Sean Porter, rough, tough game, hitting Formella with body shots, uppercuts, hooks, and Formella really didn't have the answer to Porter's work rate. So that was Formella, Sebastian Formella, and I guess that was Formella. Although I think Formella's been the IBO welterweight champion of the world at one point or another. He'd become IBO champion. So now Formella is now in the UK and he'll be fighting Conor Benn. Now, side note, big fan of Conor Benn, not just because of his father, because I was a big Nigel Benn fan anyway, but I like Conor Benn. I had the pleasure of meeting him. Very nice, down-to-earth young man, and he just seems a man that's a young man that's ambitious and wants to be the best he possibly can be. That's what it seems like to me. The impression I get is, obviously, if he's the father of Nigel Benn, he's known because of Nigel Benn and because of the fights Nigel Benn gave us with Chris Eubank, Steve Collins, and of course Gerald McClellan, that fight as well. So because of those reasons, I believe people followed Conor Benn. Conor Benn is an exciting fighter himself, and I do like Conor Benn. I don't like, however, this propping up, or the idea, or the notion that by working in a gym without fighting, you can move from being a decent fighter to being a world-class fighter without actually having the rounds and the fights. You can do the stuff in the gym to make you a better fighter. Of course, you can work on your jab, you can work your right hand, you can work on your defense. But ultimately, the real test of what you've practiced in training, is in the ring, where everybody can see when you've got an opponent come back and hitting you on the chin. That really is your litmus test. That really is where people can see your craft, your art, and how you've improved. But for a promoter to come out and say, he's a world-class fighter, that is setting a fighter up for a fall. Instead of saying he's a prospect, he's coming through, he's a contender, he's coming through, to call a person a world-class athlete or a world-class fighter, that, without them really showing anything that would be world-class, because you've not fought anybody in world class. So how can somebody be world class? You can have world class potential. I get that. I understand that. You could have, potentially world class punching power, but until you actually fight somebody remotely in the top 10, do you say, well, he's world class? Formella, I don't know where Formella ranks in the world. In fact, I might just do a box track on it now to find out where Formella is ranked, because that might be, I'll do that in action. Let me box rec Formella now. He just fought so he must be quite highly ranked in box rec. Still, I would have thought Formella, because he's German boxer. Where's he ranked? Because he's just fought Sean Porter. But he's ranked, he's number one welterweight in Germany, and in the world, he's ranked 27. He's got a 4-star rating, Formella. Okay, He doesn't have a lot of KOs in his record. He's got one K at TKO. He's fought fought one undefeated fighter. He's fought two undefeated fighters. So he knows how to fight. He's fought undefeated fighters before, and he's beaten undefeated fighters on points. So he's got some ability to box. He beat a guy here, Isa Idusi in Hamburg. That was, let me bring this up for you guys to see that as well. So let's get that share screen up. Yeah, let's get this up here. So I'm get this shit. Okay, so let's get this up here. Let's get that boxer up so you can see. So you can see the Sebastian Formella has fought a few unbeaten fighters here. See, he fought this guy that was unbeaten, and he beat him. He was 13-0. He fought this guy who's 15-0. Look at this guy's record a second here. Did he have any knockout? How many knockout wins does this guy have? Another guy that doesn't punch up. Oh, he's got a few knockouts on his record, actually. Got a few knockouts on his record. Well, one thing that says Formella has a good chin. So they're saying Formella's got a good chin. So because of the Sean Porter fight, and he did got hit with some hellacious shots by Sean Porter. So he has got a record. He can fight a bit, Formella. But back to this world-class thing that's been thrown about. I don't like it. Don't like the sound of it. It sounds like it's making the fools of the fans. You know, I don't think Conor Benn's walking and saying, I'm a world-class fighter. I just don't like it. You're trying to make fools out of people. Conor Benn's a prospect, and that's what he is, and you have to put him in that category. He's a prospect. Contender, that's a bit, but he's a prospect. And that's where I'd like to keep Conor Benn. When we start talking about calling guys contenders, I think we are putting ourselves in a position to set up a man up to fail. Now, the second thing is about this fight, which is a bit disturbing, is there are too many people in boxing that should keep their mouth shut. Too many people reporting on boxing that don't understand boxing. I don't understand the dynamics of boxing. They should be bankers. They should be working in I don't know, but they should not be in boxing. Because some of the reactions for so many people in boxing are for people who would never take a punch in anger, who will never box, who never they've got too much money to have to box. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? They're not from that lineage. They're not that type of person, right? And I have to explain this to you and explain this to you well. There are too many people in boxing that don't know what the hell they're talking about, right? Conor Benn breaks down in an interview because he's away from his family, okay? Ben is an emotional type of guy. His father, Nigel, was pretty emotional as well. Do you understand? You've got to understand the nature of these guys like this. They wear their heart on their sleeve. They're going to give you everything. They're not going to cheat you. They will literally give their lives over in a ring to prove their point. They're passionate. They're genuine people. They'll give all that they can until they can't give any more. You understand? You have to really knock them out to stop them. That's the kind of person that Conor Benn is. You understand? And I don't doubt that he has trained his socks off for this fight. I wonder what the conversation was between Eddie and Conor, because the question may be asked now, look, come on, mate, we're going to have to, COVID's been about, and, we can't keep feeding you these kind of opponents. You talk about having a Josh Kelly fight, you talk about having this fight and that fight. Look, we'll give you Formella. Formella, he just fought Sean Porter. We all know Sean Porter's a world-class fighter. So let's see how you do against Formella. Then we can kind of judge where you're at. I'm going to give you the big build-up. You're a world-class fighter, right? I'm going to sell you as a world-class fighter. Now it's up to you to deliver. But that's the sort of conversation that I would anticipate being said behind closed doors to Conor Benn. And, that's saying, Conor, mate, It's time, can't keep knocking these Mexican road sweepers over. At some point, mate, you're going to have to step up, mate. You're going to have to dig in and show us what you've got, you know what I mean? I like to step up and, the coronavirus and COVID-19, not as much cash flying around, You're going to have to make yourself viable, you know what I mean, mate? You have to get in there and have a go, you know what I mean? Have a go, give it some sun, I believe in you can do it. I can imagine those things are going on behind closed doors. I don't know if Nigel Benn's in the country or not because of the lockdown. So I don't know how that affects Conor for this fight. I don't know how that affects, because this is his step-up fight. This is the big fight for him, right? David Dad ringside for a fight like this. I don't know if Nigel's in the country or not. I don't know. I haven't followed, right? But I don't know. Thank you very much. I don't know. You understand? Let me stop and say hello to people quickly. Let Vinda, shout out to you. Yes, Ruben, good to see you in the house. Lawrence Williams, yes, my brother, good to see you. BG London, great to see you as well. Yeah, thank you very much. I was getting fed up of the David Hay, like he's the only guy in the world who's allowed to have cane rows. So I thought to get my hair done a little differently. Shout out to my aunt who was recently on ITV talking about Afro hair and hairstyles. I'll upload that video at some point in the future. Right, anyway, back to my point. Yeah, I just, this is what I know of Conor Benn. This is what I know for a fact. He seems a puncher. Well, that's what he looks like to me. But my big concern, my major concern, my absolute, his chin. I'm sorry. You can put muscles on your body. You can make your little stuff look bigger. You can work out in the gym. You can, yes, Yemi Babatunde, good to see you in the room. Jamie, good to see you in the house. You can put muscles on your body. You can put tattoos on you. You can put a beard. You can look mean. You can do all that stuff. But ultimately, when Conor got hit on the chin, he went over. He got knocked over by a jab. He got knocked over by a straight right hand. His punch resistance is a worry. And we're not even talking British title level. We're not talking British title level. When Ben got rocked by, I think it's Anthony Logan back in the day, I think Ben was at least a Commonwealth champion, right? Conor's already getting tagged and dropped at, is it just above area level? Yeah, and the way he fights is all coming at you. You see this? And you're coming up, you're always vulnerable to getting hit on the counter by a better boxer. The guy he fought that dropped him and rocked him, almost knocked him out. He's got a great heart. There's no disputing that. There's no disputing that he's got a great heart, Conor Benn. But if you're calling upon your heart at area level or English level, listen, I like Conor. I do like him, right? But you have to be honest about guys that you're supporting. Because say, you know what? You're going to have to be careful. I wouldn't want to see you get hit in the chin by, Terence Crawford or Errol Spence. I wouldn't like to see you get hit in the chin by guys like that. I really wouldn't. Because that is, if you're going down by punches that guys who are not noted punchers, when you get hit by somebody who can really punch, yeah, you're going to be on Quay Street early. Boxing fans don't like to hear this stuff. They like to say, oh yeah, he's going to go and have a fight. But I'm just pointing out to you, in any fight that Conor Benn has, he could be on an upset because of that chin. He has punching power. I get it. I hope that the time he spent during COVID and during the lockdown, and we are in another lockdown, he spent that time working on defense. That his D has gotten better. He's moving his head more. That's what Nigel started doing, because Nigel started getting it with big shots. Now he used the cross-arm defense when he fought Eubank for the second fight. Cross-arm defense. Do you know what I mean? He did that. when he was hurt. Just tucked up. Used to cross arm defense. Ben used a lot of bobbing and weaving when he went to the States, and so he was in a position to throw big shots and get himself into position. Do you understand? I just when I think about that, and I think of Conor, I don't know who's. I know that they've done work. His sins has done work with him, but at the end of the day, is that enough? He might get past FORMELLA. He might. But this is a step up fight now, and I'm concerned at the end of the day that Conor Benn is, I don't want to say an accident waiting to happen, but that chin is not world class. It's not even, dare I say, English level. I'm concerned. Okay, and topped in all of that, there's this situation of Ben being emotional. Do you understand? And I don't like that. Like the people that ask the questions to Conor. Oh yeah, people asking if I'm in an emotional state. Yeah, I'm ready. I could go now. I could go now. I'm happy, but I can go now. To me, all that energy you're spending telling people you could go now, you could be calm and say it's okay. I'm in check. Everything's good. So no, I can go now. All that emotional energy. Needs to be careful. You don't come out there swinging bombs and getting caught himself. So Conor needs to be calm and collected and go about his business in a mature fashion, and not go out there swinging bombs, because as you move up in level, you're more easy to get tagged and get hurt and get hit by guys who know their way around the ring a bit more. This FORMELLA guy isn't a noted puncher. For me, Conor's best chance is to come out like Sean Porter, but the difference between Sean Porter and Conor Benn is that Conor Benn, his chin's a question mark. Do you know what I mean? I'm a little concerned about that, There are people that will expect more of Conor Benn because he's related to Nigel Benn, but it doesn't work that way. In fact, there's very few situations where a son is better than a father. And I think the reason because that is because usually the fathers didn't have a choice. The son has a choice. Like the father didn't have a choice to box. This is my decision. I'm boxing. You understand? I had no choice. My back was against the wall. There was nothing else about a box. I boxed and provided for you. I provided for you. And you have a chair, you can play football, you can play cricket, you can play rugby, you can do what you want. You've got a nice, comfortable upbringing because your dad's there for you and stuff. It's a bit different. I think that might be the key. I don't know, but I think that might be one of the reasons why these fighters are not as successful as their dads. Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And of course, I think the weight of expectation, when you think of somebody like Julio Cesar Chavez, there was no weight of expectation. He was just Julio Cesar Chavez and he made his legacy. Whoever comes behind that, and you are unfortunately his son, everyone expects you to be the second coming of your dad, and that's very unfair, and it's just not right. The circumstances are different, the time frame is different, your opponents are different, the sports moved on, lots of different reasons, and you don't have the same heart, you don't have the same chin, you don't have the same ambitions. Some of you are doing it because your dad did it, but you don't really want it, but that's the only thing that, you want that limelight. I'm not saying we fighters like that, but for the huge majority of them, the level is never as good as what their dad did, because their dad went and put himself in positions that the son would never put themselves in, for the most part. And we've seen that. Sugar Shane Mosley and his son, Joe Frazier and Marvin's Frazier, George Foreman and his sons. I mean, I remember having it with George Foreman's son. I mean, he had a record of something like 20 fights. He was unbeaten in 20 fights, but stopped boxing. So there's that to consider as well. Yes, Malky, good to see you in the room. Where's all these people coming up from tonight, man? What is going on? Leo says, let me come out this stop share screen second so I can get this. Okay, let's get this increased a bit more so I can see what's going on here. Right, is the name Ben a danger to Conor's health because people expect more of him? Well, if you see, if you have another thing, when you have, good question, Leif, when you have an amateur background and you've gone for the amateurs, You have pressure on you, especially if you fight at the highest level as an amateur. You've got that backing behind. You've got that experience fighting different styles and opponents and arenas and different scenarios. Going in a person's backyard and fighting at home. You've all those different experience styles, height, reach. You've got a good chance to. You can win, you can lose. It isn't about having the as an amateur. It's about learning your craft and, you know, learning distance and space and timing and, you know, your strengths and weaknesses. And those things you're learning as an amateur. You're learning about yourself as an amateur. So when you become a pro, you have something to fall back on. You go, like, you know, these are the sort of styles I fight for, orthodox, guys who've got faster hands than me, guys that punch harder than me, guys who've got faster feet than me. All the different things, guys who are slicksters, you know, guys who are counter punches. You've got all the different styles that you've faced. So by the time you turn pro, you've got that confidence in your back, in your back pocket. So when you turn pro, so 4 different styles, it helps. And Conor did fight a little bit as an amateur, but I think all of that was in Australia for the most part. And I think that those things, when you get into the big fights, are key of how to hold it together. You don't learn how to hold it together until after a fight. You go, you know what? I shouldn't have done that interview. I shouldn't have spoken about this. I shouldn't have handled it that way, because you've got the experience. Going back to the situation with Conor Benn, where he was emotional in that interview, right? He's saying he's missed his family. Anybody who has been in the sport of boxing and has been separated from their family, this is something that is normal. This is something that is, it's normal. It is part of the life that you live. Okay. And I've seen grown men cry when they've been away from their families. You know, they've got to go away on holiday. There are people who are breaking down in tears now because of COVID. Their wife, their girlfriend, their boyfriend, you know, they cannot meet because of the lockdown. Do you understand? I've seen people break down doing interviews on TV for it. Conor Benn breaks down. He's like, are you in the right mental state for this fight? I'm like, what? Clearly, people that should not be doing boxing interviews. You know, he's emotional because he's got a newborn baby and, you know, he's a father and he's not going to be here for his child because he's got to be in the box. And his first time isn't to experience that. Okay, fine. Is his mind on the job? Of course his mind's on the job. Why was his mind not be on the job? I don't understand. So these people making a big smoke screen. And you didn't have to even ask him in the interview. The man has just come off the scales, and you're back on his ass again. Oh, can I ask you, you know, your emotional state? What kind of dumbass question is that you're asking? These are people that should not have a microphone near them. You know, Conor, you're looking in great shape, mate. How do you feel about this fight? And let him tell you how he's feeling. Oh, you've got an emotional state. What? I just, these people, and I don't know if these people do it because these people instigate the garbage that's been said out there. You know what I mean? I would say, you know, listen, if you're going to do any interviews with me, don't repeat the nonsense of those ignorant people, and don't show your ignorance to me when you're interviewing me. You understand? Ask me how the fight is. Ask me what you think of my opponent. Sure. But don't come asking me stuff you read on Twitter about how I was in an emotional wreck. Yeah, I broke down. But I broke down because I love my family. I broke down because I love my son. I broke down because I'm away from my family. And what? You know, boxing has got so many, particularly in the UK, has got so many people that go by the book, right? So then when we get somebody who shows a bit of emotion, say, oh, he's media trained. So now you get somebody who's got a bit of emotion. There's a problem. How many times I've seen Ricky Hatton break down in tears? Do you understand? He broke down in tears when he won the title against Costa Zoo. Nobody's going, oh, Ricky Hatton, he broke down in tears. And it's just, I don't like it. A set of people in boxing today that should not be in boxing, making a mockery of the sport by their reporting. It's just terrible. I don't like it. And what are you doing to that young man as well? This is why you put an extra pressure on the young man. I don't like it. And you wonder why you don't have pay-per-view stars, because you don't know how to look after the fighters, because you yourself don't know what the mentality is with a fighter. And people say, oh, that's not really, that's got a bit harsh thing to say. Working with athletes, understanding their mentality. No, I don't. I read. I'm not too. I'm not a fan of it at all. I think Connor made interesting points in the interview. He said how many other boxers from the background would have fought. He said that he showed how dedicated he is and how he's choosing to fight. Listen, he's having to explain himself, and he shouldn't have to explain himself. His fists should do the explaining for him. Let's see now. Conor Benn's tough guy act doesn't seem natural like his dad. He can fight though. Yeah, I agree with you. Can fight BG, for no doubt whatsoever. No doubt whatsoever. What do you mean Eddie doesn't have pay-per-view stars? Oh dear. Moving swiftly on. I hope that Conor goes out tomorrow night, and he fights with a level head. I actually believe he can stop FORMELLA because BENN's style and Porter's style, the difference is I think BENN will hit FORMELLA with much more cleaner shots and a bit more accurate shots. Porter's got a habit of, when he gets close, smothering a lot of his work. He's always smothered his work. I think BENN will catch FORMELLA cleanly. The problem with this fight is FORMELLA can box a bit. He's not a puncher. He's not a puncher. I think for me, although FORMELLA's not a puncher, it doesn't mean he's not a threat. The guy that BENN fought and got dropped by twice isn't a puncher. And ultimately, as I said, I'm not contradicting myself. Any fight that BENN fights in with that chin is an accident waiting to happen. Question. Somebody says here, he put on 46 pay-per-view shows a year, more than any UK promoter. And what? What? That because you put on more pay-per-views doesn't mean you've got pay-per-view stars. You put pay-per-view on because that's just what it is. But I don't want to say you've got pay-per-view stars. No more pay-per-view stars than, for example, the Charlo brothers. But more established fighters than them. I mean, how many established fighters have you got? Would you say you've got in the UK that are established champions? And take Anthony Joshua out of the equation, please. Thoughts on Sky Sports increasing pay-per-view to $24.95 in COVID? They don't. I've told you already. They don't care about the fans. They've never cared about the fans. And any fan that believes that Sky Sports cares about the fans, if they really cared about the fans, they'd get rid of the garbage commentary team they've got. They'd get rid of the garbage biased crap that they put on, and they'd start putting on some commentary that was actually telling us what was really going on in the fight and the sort of quality of the opponents that are coming in and the sort of fighters we've got. And we'll get more of an honest opinion from Sky rather than the garbage they try and tell us every week, telling us this person's world class, never fought anybody in the top 30. When you're going to fight for a world title, you haven't fought anybody in the top 100. That is what would change, and that would be better. And then maybe $24.95 wouldn't be such a bad thing. But $24.95 to listen to people that are going to tell you that, listen to me, one of the beautiful things about boxing is commentary. The fact that you have to turn your volume down, you're just watching pictures. Doesn't that tell you something? And then you know that in some of these fights, you're going to get blatantly robbed. You know you're going to get robbed of your money. You can't see competitive fights, and you turn up to see fights where people are going to be given the right decision. And you are paying to watch people get robbed in front of your face. Dodgy judging, dodgy refereeing, dodgy stoppages, dodgy cards, shocking and biased commentary, company men sitting around a table. Come on. The only way they can increase that stuff is if you keep on buying that stuff. But if you say, you know what, I ain't buying no more Sky Sports. Screw Sky Sports, because they don't care for me. I ain't paying for that rubbish no more. I'm gonna go around my mate's house and watch it. So why the hell? Because you guys support it. If you guys say, do you know what? I'm going to contact trading standards, because what you're telling me isn't actually what's going on. What you're telling me isn't actually going on in boxing. So, all right, you're telling me this guy's a world-class fighter. Okay, he's a world-class fighter. So you're selling me a product, right? You're lying to me in my face. Guys fought nobody in the top 10, not even nobody in the top 20. But he's a world-class fighter. Yeah? Can you explain that to me? Can you explain to me biasness or conflict of interest? How can I have me? I'm one of your top commentators, yeah? I'm the brother of the guy that's fighting for a world title. And then you ask me a question. Oh, who do you think is going to win the fight tonight? You expect me to say, yeah, you know, my bro, you know, he's not that good, you know. He's decent. I mean, he's got a puncher's chance, but he's going to get his ass kicked tonight. Can you imagine? And where's Paul Smith gone, by the way? Does anyone know where Paul Smith's gone? Paul Smith seems to have disappeared. What happened to Paul Smith? What did he say wrong? But yeah, Paul Smith, I mean, it's not right. It's just not right. It's not right. Yeah, he's my old sparring partner. Yeah, I spar him all the time. He's a good fighter. Yeah, he's my uncle, you know. He's my uncle, yeah. He's part of my camp, really. But I'm trying to be fair, but he's part of my camp. Stop it. No. You all just, and it's the same old nonsense over and over again. That's what you're paying for. And I don't care if you at Matchroom don't like it. And I don't like you either. So that's the facts. I don't care if you don't like it. You don't like what I'm saying? Change the script. Do something different. Do you understand? You have the power. If you think about it, you have the power to really put on some spectacular fights with some great commentary. Ian Dark, Glenn McCrory, Jim Watt. Do you understand? Real good commentary team you had there. Where's Ian Dark? Can't you pull him back over? That would be great commentary. And have somebody in there who really knows about boxing, who's going to be non-biased. Get Peter Fury in there. Let Peter Fury sit down and talk some boxing with you guys. They had Peter Fury on once. I think it wasn't Tom Little, it was the other Tom Dallas. And it was so funny. They asked Peter Fury what he thought of Tom Dallas. I think he should stick to paint and decorating, personally. I mean, that was funny, but it was the truth. And that's what people need to see. Prince Nazim Hamed. I like Prince Nazim Hamed because he told you the truth. He told you what you wanted to hear. And if we had that, then you'd get more fans, a little bit more balanced, a bit more educated, and boxing would be better. And you would actually build the careers of these fighters for a second. Instead of trying, listen, this is not a dig, but watch this. If you actually took the time to build your fighters, put them in good fights at good times, get the crowd behind them and get some support, build their profile, you might get a couple of pay-per-view stars out of it. Proper, genuine, world-class pay-per-view stars. Look at damn Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor should be a pay-per-view star without a question. Dave Allen's been on more pay-per-views than Josh Taylor. I'm sure of it. What are you trying to tell me? And by the way, I hope that Dave Allen stays retired, because if what happened to him got hurt by Usyk like that, I hope he's made enough money, and I hope that his ego and he's able to mentally keep it together, and he doesn't have that, because a lot of fighters, once the limelight's off them and they're not under the big lights and the crowd's not cheering for their name and they haven't got that attention on them, they can't walk down the street and say, hey, you're going to see me on Sky Sports next week. When that attention moves from them and they no longer flavour of the month, some of these guys can literally implode. So I hope Dave Allen has a job, has a you know, he still keeps his hands in boxing, whether it be a trainer, whether doing some commentary work, just something he's doing outside of boxing. I really hope that that's the case, because guys like that, they tend to implode because there's nothing to keep them there, and going to big bouts of depression, and they haven't got the same adrenaline to keep them going. So I really hope that that he is well looked after, all the people around him, you know, look after him, Dave Allen. So shout out to him as well. Let's see what's going here. Deliberately not talking about Canelo and Smith, because I've done enough videos on Canelo and Smith. Not talking about Canelo and Smith again. You know my thoughts on that. The way BENN was on interview, like, fans should be grateful that they get put on title fights on COVID. Yeah, that's sort of nonsense that they will feed up to you. Should Little retire if he gets knocked out by BABIC? I think BENN will win by split decision if he doesn't get knocked out by FORMELLA. Yeah, well, he's always close to going, so I'm concerned. Keep saying we're getting Conor Ben free to air. That's not up to par. Of course, it's not up to par. You need to pull him up about it. Ingram spitting facts. I try. Mates punditing on mates fights. Well, you know what it is for $24.95. Family members commentating. LOL. Yeah. Leif, boxing commentary should be like the old TV series catchphrase. Say what you see. Amen. Amen to that, Leif. World class, but needs time for Congo. LOL. Oh dear. Who's the most biased, Sky Sports or BT Sports pundits? Sky Sports, because they're flipping everywhere. You can't get rid of them. They're like, you can't get rid of them. They're all over the place. They're like, I don't know, mutating. They're all over the place, like flies. So Sky Sports. Oh, sorry, Sly Sports. Sorry, not Sky, Sly. Anybody who knows about the Sly box will know what I'm talking about. Oops, what's going on here? My mouse is gone. Mouse has decided to disappear on me for some reason. Where's my mouse? There we go. His mouse back. Thank you. Same. Oh dear. BT is pretty bad too. Ruling is biased. Same again. Hi Ingram. Trust you well. Worthing looks deserted during lockdown. I don't know. Does it? Yeah. Well, it look. I don't know. I haven't looked, but I think there's been a lot. We had a lockdown before. It was pretty. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it, to be honest. Thoughts on Canelo Smith? Well, just watch Rocky Fielding versus Canelo and his action replay. That's it. Oh, well, I will talk about it. Don't take me and boxing fans for a fool. This is not a super fight. This guy, Callum Smith, again, for about the 20th time, I like Callum Smith. I think he is a fighter that could be really good. I just think he needs to leave his trainer because his trainer is not improving him. I think Callum Smith could be a better fighter. I tell you how Callum Smith could be a better fighter. If he could learn to fight off the ropes, or if he could fight inside better, or if he could learn to tie up. If Callum Smith can learn to tie up, turn, block on the inside, rather than just crawl up into the ball. Because when Callum Smith, Callum Smith is the most vulnerable champion in the super middleweight division, because Callum Smith is great when he's long. He's got the jab, he's beautiful. He's got the right hand, that's beautiful. The body, yeah, it's great. Callum Smith on the front foot's great. He's a bit one-paced. Problem with Callum Smith, if you attack Callum Smith, he does that. He just does that. He just goes into a ball like that. And he sort of waits for you to throw your punches. And when you run out of steam, then he'll kind of bounce off the ropes and then get back on the jab again. But Callum Smith, defensively, he's a shocker. He just does that. And you're going to do that against Canelo? And don't tell me, well, for the Canelo fight, he'll fight better. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Guys like Callum Smith are tailor-made they're sitting ducks for Canelo. Why? They don't move. They're flat-footed. They're straight up and down. Look. That's Callum Smith. And as soon as this goes up, as soon as this arm goes up, you'll see just Canelo going like this, Canelo, and then you see Canelo do this. Left hook to the body. And it's a matter of how many left hooks to the body that Callum Smith can take. Bear in mind, I don't know how much Callum Smith is weighing now. I don't know, like he's probably got a month training camp, so he's probably going to have to struggle to lose the weight, right? Because Callum Smith, he's been struggling at that super middleweight for a long while. And I suspect when he gets his ass whooped by Canelo, he'll move up to light heavyweight. You know, he's not been an active champion. And he's been a fortunate champion. And this is a guy that I like. Why do I like Callum Smith? Because I think he's got potential to do great things. Although I just don't think he's got the right trainer now. I think his trainer's taking him to a point. Callum Smith is much like Joseph Parker and Joshua Bwtm. There are three guys there that I think if they left their trainers and they got a trainer that could make them could add to their arsenal, I think they'd be better. Bwtm needs to change his trainer. Definitely. Absolutely. He's not improving. In fact, I think he's going backwards, and he's a young fighter. And you'd think he'd improve during the lockdown. No improvement. Still getting hit with shots. Still getting caught with the same punches. Still can't get out of the way of those punches. Next, Joseph Parker. Where's Parker improved? Parker still can't block a left hook. Parker still can't fight defensive with the back foot. And if I'm Junior Farr, I tell Junior Farr, you know what? Take the fight to Parker and throw left hooks. He doesn't see it coming. Because his trainer is... Parker's got everything there to become a heavyweight champion. In fact, he's got everything there to be an undisputed champion. He's got a good chin. So if you gave him defense, he'd have a really good chin because he wouldn't get hit as much. He's got good punching power. He's got good footwork. Yeah, he's a really good trainer. Imagine someone like a Bashir training him, teaching him how to move in and out and slip and do all those things. Do you know what I mean? Joseph Parker could be a real dangerous man in the heavyweight division. I just think that he, again, another guy been wasted. You know what I mean? And then we're talking about, who's the other guy we're talking about? I've got lost train of thought, but you know, so those are my thoughts on that. Callum Smith. Callum Smith's been fighting the same way all his career. Yeah, well, he's been successful. Yeah, because of the level of opponents. But you think all that time Callum Smith's been fighting, if he had a different trainer, the things he could have been working on. Too late now. I talked about this fight a long time ago, that Canelo was going to pull him in, the two sheep, Canelo and Saunders. I said he's going to bring them in to be slaughtered. The first one getting slaughtered is Saunders, is Callum Smith. He said, all right, time for you to come in now. Time to come in. Play time's over. Time for you to get slaughtered. You hold on to them belts. I'm going to have them belts now. And the Parcher, you come. You come. You're going to get some licks now, right? Vulnerable. 1 month's training camp. 1 month's training camp to get Callum Smith to fight Canelo. While all this time, Canelo knew who was going to fight. And you're going to turn down the Canelo fight. Really? Okay. Well, okay, if you say so. Sly Sports, LOL. Crazy how Canelo got out deal with DAZN and Oscar, then work with DAZN. Next fight, LOL. Oscar must have messed up promising DAZN GGG trilogy. That might be just for this fight. It might just be for this fight. Smith struggled against that kickboxer and lost to Ryder. Well, I told everyone was going to lose to Ryder. I told everyone on this channel, Ryder's going to beat the crap out of Smith because Ryder can get in and out. And when I said Ryder's a better fight for Canelo than Smith is, people laughed in the face. Watch and see. This is Rocky Fielding Part 2. Back-to-back cards every weekend till the 9th December. Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. It's good for us, eh? All Gallo fighters fight like that. That's what I'm saying to you. This is what I'm saying. Wow, this is Ruben Guerrero. Canelo will slip Callum's punch with ease, late knockout 10th. No way. 10 rounds? Nah, bro. Inside 6. Inside 6. Inside 6. Manufactured opponent for Canelo. Smart match. That's key. Canelo, see Canelo? Great matchmakers. I think Eddie Hearn needs whatever the matchmakers are for Canelo, they need to be talking to Eddie Hearn. Bwtm needs more stop making excuses for Bwtm, my friend. Don't matter how active that boy is, he's still going to get hit with the same punches. Activity doesn't mean you don't get hit with punches. That's garbage. Working on your defense, you can still be active and still get hit with punches. If Bwtm fought 4 times in a year, he's still get hit with the same punches. It's called technique and skill. The boy has to learn how to move his head off the line. Move your head. Use your hands to block, slip, twist. Come on, he's an Olympic fighter. He should know this. But I don't think his training, I don't think his team are using the best of his Olympic ability and his athleticism. So it's all right. Layoff's got nothing to do with it, mate. Sorry. Layoff's got nothing to do with it. Listen, let me explain something to you. If you're not a good footballer, if you've never been a good footballer, and then I put you in the Man United team, starting as a striker up front, and you're a garbage footballer, you can't play as a striker, yeah? And I put you up front, I'll let you play 10 games for Man United. You think suddenly you're going to become a world-class striker? Come on, bro. You've got to have some amount of ability, and I'm not saying that Bwtm doesn't have ability, but that ability is being ruined because he's not being with a proper trainer as a pro. That's all I'm saying. Right, Alan Babic Savage versus Tom Little. I like Tom Little. Tom Little's cool. I haven't got a bad word to say about Tom Little. He gives us his best. He does what he wants to do at the end of the day, and he's Tom Little, isn't it? He's Tom Little. His fight against Alan Babic, I think he's fun, but that's not going to last. That is not going to last. That style there is not going to last. You can't keep fighting like that. It might work against guys who've got slow hands and slow feet and can't punch and can't hit you back, but you can't fight 12 rounds like that. Sorry. And he gets it too easily. Exciting, yes. At a certain level, it'll get more exciting when he starts to get hit in the chin. Yeah. Trainer for Bwtm, Adam Booth. Why? I say Adam Booth. Because Booth will actually give Bwtm in and out movement. Bwtm can learn to use footwork, slip shots, and counter. I think that's the style that would be good for Bwtm. So I think Booth for Bwtm would be a good trainer because Booth gives you movement, sniper style. That's the best style for Bwtm. He can land his heavy punches, get in, get out, don't exchange with bigger guys, and do his work. And you can use that speed. So Bwtm's got speed, he's got power. He puts his punches together very well. So I'd like to see Bwtm fight with to train with Booth. And dare I say it, I would have Bwtm training with Tunde Ajayi. Why? Because of the defense. People say I'm stupid here, but if you can have a Tunde Ajayi working with the defense and an Adam Booth working with the footwork and distance, you got to get trainers for what they're good at. Booth likes guys who've got speed and power. Bwtm's got speed and power, and he's got that Olympic pedigree. That's who I'd like to see him work with. Maybe Rob McCracken, because you got that GB thing there, and it seemed to work well with Bwtm, so maybe Rob McCracken as well. He's worked at the highest level. He's worked with Froch. He's worked with Joshua, Olympic fighters. So I think McCracken will be something I'd like to see him work with as well. Tibbs. I like Tibbs. I like Mark Tibbs because he seemed to evolve fighters. He evolved Jimmy Dillian White. I'd like to see Tibbs working with father and son working with Bwtm as well. So those are three I'd like to see. Riley's more mobile than Canelo. Canelo was able to make quick work of fielding, but Callum does have more power. Yeah, Callum's power is generated when he's on the front foot. Callum's power is not generated when he's on the back foot. Callum Smith, when you push him onto the back foot, is ineffective. Just like that, just like your fight with Daniel Dubois. Remember, Kovalev was able to control Canelo with nothing but a jab until he got tired. Yeah, but the Canelo fight with Kovalev, remember, they were two mates. They were two good friends. There was an attachment there, mate. That was a business deal. You know it was a business deal. I know it was a business deal. And everybody in the arena knew it was a business deal. Yeah, you see these two guys walking through the corridor, shaking hands with one another, cuddling one another. Listen, that's a business deal. Kovalev Canelo was a business deal. This fight here is different. There's no attachment there with Callum Smith. No attachment whatsoever. Trust me. Savage persona getting annoying. Guys saying he's a cult figure, but they're promoting hell out of him on socials. Yeah, well, whatever. That's not going to last. Well, Kovalev got iced. Yeah. Did you ever look at that fight carefully? How many right hands did you see Kovalev try and throw at Canelo? Be honest. That's the first fight I've seen Kovalev not throw a right hand with any intent behind it. That was a business deal, man. I think Tom Little's a great test for the Savage. The thing with this fight with Tom Little is this. Savage has got speed of hand. I don't know if the extra weight is going to slow him down and it's going to problem for him later in the fight. But I see a problem with Savage where he will throw punches that Tom Little won't see. And it's not the punches that you see that knock you out. It's the punches you don't see that knock you out. So I think Tom Little will try. But I think BABIC, his speed might be a problem. His speed of hand and foot might just be a problem there for Tom Little. Another fight I find very interesting is this fight between WARDLEY and LARTEY. Now, I didn't think that Gorman was overly impressive against Richard Lartey. I thought Richard Lartey exposed Daniel Dubois, but we'll wait until Dubois fights Joyce next weekend to go into that discussion further. But for WARDLEY, it's a good fight, but it's a dangerous fight. I'll tell you why it's a dangerous fight. You see, Lartey's moved from BT with Frank Warren and now over with Eddie Hearn. Lartey looks in good shape already. He's just finished fighting Gorman, so he's in shape. He's good to go. And he'll be thinking to himself, if I can beat this WARDLEY guy, I can get a contract with Eddie Hearn. There's an incentive there. I don't believe for any stretch of the imagination that Lartey was going to get a contract with Frank Warren. But I do believe that if Lartey were to upset WARDLEY, I think that there could be a deal in place if he were to upset WARDLEY. That's what I think. That's what I think. I think WARDLEY is a decent fighter. Again, I'm concerned about his defense. And any fighter that I look at and I have defensive concerns, I'm concerned about the fact that if they get hit, they may go over. So that's it. WARDLEY looks interesting, but it's Lartey's motivation in this fight, which should be very interesting. Very interesting. I'm looking at his motivation for this fight. Savage was like, he aims for 100 punches per round. LOL. Yeah, that's all right. That's fine. You can do that when people in front of you are falling over. But when guys start throwing resistance, start punching you back, that will start going down. Lartey let me down against Gorman. The party's over. No, don't necessarily say that. Lartey Lartey didn't look great because Lartey's not that great. Lartey isn't that great. Lartey's not that great, right? Lartey's claim to fame was punching Danny Dubois back because nobody had punched Danny Dubois back up to that point. That's Lartey's claim to fame. If you ask anybody really the question, okay, so why are we fascinated by Richard Lartey? He got knocked out by Danny Dubois. What did he do? Oh yeah, it was the guy that gave Danny Dubois a bit of a fight. He threw a punch back at Danny Dubois. Oh, so because he threw a punch back at Danny Dubois, then wherever else he fights, he'll throw a punch back at them as well. You gotta understand, because Danny Dubois is overhyped. I keep telling you all that, but next Saturday night will be the moment of truth, and guess what? I will have my brother in the room. Coach Chris, he is going to be for Danny Dubois. I'll be back in Joe Joyce, and you better watch it live here. We'll be doing, we're going to try and do simultaneous commentary for that night. Dubois versus Joyce. I'll be commentating from one end. He'll be commentating from the other end. We'll do a shared screen, and there's a bit of money on the table as well. So yeah, should be funny. There you go. LOL. I mean, being competitive. Have you seen Richard Lartey? Have you actually seen Richard Lartey? Have you actually seen Richard Lartey try and throw punches? I mean, have you actually seen this guy try and throw punches? There are amateurs that can throw better punches than Richard Lartey. Yeah. Richard Lartey, again, his claim to fame was hitting Danny Dubois back. That's it. That's it. What else has Richard Lartey done? Will somebody tell me what Richard Lartey's done? What's he done? He hit Danny Dubois back and he got knocked out by Danny Dubois. And what? Please, somebody, please educate me. Somebody educate me as to what Richard Lartey's done so great. You see, the problem is when these things are put out to you and they're promoted to you and they're thrown at you, if you just listen to the BS, then it makes me look real bad. But if they just tell you the truth and say, we got Richard Lartey over here because, you know, he fought Nathan Gorman and he got stopped by Danny Dubois. But now if Fabio Wardley goes out and stops Lartey in a couple of rounds, wow, we've really got something to talk about here. You understand? Then they can use, he's the guy that stopped Lartey faster than Dubois and stopped him better than Gorman did. You know, that is, they're just trying to give you a new line to sell about Wardley. That's what it is. So Wardley be trying to finish the job faster than them guys. And I would say he's probably got faster hands than those guys and probably more mobile than those guys. So he should be able to set his shots up better. Having said that, Wardley also is fighting a guy that's a little heavier than him now. And he's fighting a guy that will come to fight. He'll come to throw punches. Now, Lartey didn't knock anybody out. He didn't knock out Dubois and he didn't knock out Gorman. He threw some good shots and he caught Gorman with some good shots. But Gorman was overweight. Let's say that. Let's have it be what it is. He was overweight. And probably a lighter Nathan Gorman may have been able to force a stoppage. But I'm not high on Richard Lartey, to be honest. So, yeah. I think that's about... Is there anything else I want to talk about? Let me see. Is there anything else people want me to talk about? No disrespect to anybody else who's on the card. I can't really say I've done any research on those guys. Is there any other conversation that you'd like me to bring up and talk about that I may have forgotten or not talked about or not considered? Any other conversations, any topics you wanted me to talk about boxing-wise? Next weekend, of course, we have as well Mike Tyson against Roy Jones Jr. God, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. Dubois Joyce, best fight for last quarter. Yeah, if Dubois can negotiate Joyce, which I don't think he can, I just struggle with this notion that Dubois is the favorite in a fight where he's done nothing as an amateur and done nothing as a pro, whereas you've got a guy in the amateurs in Joyce who's fought much better opposition than Dubois as an amateur and much better opposition as a pro. It's like Manchester United versus Manchester City. That's what it's about here. And I just don't see it. Yes, Dubois can punch, but they can all punch in the heavyweight division. But it's after that. Dubois fought nobody. Nobody's hitting back. The one guy that hit him back was Richard Lartey. You saw he panicked. What is going to happen when the British George Foreman, and that's what I'm calling him, you heard it here, the British George Foreman. I said to Coach Chris the other day, this is the British George Foreman you're looking at. And people went, nah, he's laughing again. How'd you work that one out? I said, what did Foreman do that Joyce doesn't do? They were both Olympians, 1, 2. They both hit really hard, right? And they were both slow and they were both plodding. I don't understand where, and they were both guys that were menacing. They were guys that will walk you with a jab, walk you to ropes and just pummel you with shots. You watch how Foreman used to throw his shots and you watch how Joyce throws his shots. Very much like George Foreman. Very much like George Foreman. Could say Joyce is maybe a little bit more athletic than Foreman, but he's still got that Foreman. I wish Joyce had an afro. I like Joyce. I like Joyce. He's convinced me. And Sam Jones, if you're watching, I'm a fan. I wasn't convinced about Joe Joyce before, but I'm convinced. And do you know what I like about Joe Joyce? He's taken a chance. He's rolled the dice. This is the Joe Joyce coming out party. Do you know what this fight reminds me of? This fight reminds me of Gary Mason against Lennox Lewis. But that Lennox Lewis was more accomplished than Gary Mason. And Gary Mason was 35-0. And at least Gary Mason had fought some decent opposition. When you talk about decent opposition, who are you going to say that Dubois fought that Joyce couldn't beat? Billy Joe Saunders versus Martin Murray. I hope that Martin Murray wins. I hope Martin Murray wins. That's all I'm saying about that. Wow. Yes, my brother Mohammed. Good to see you in the house. You're seeing me live in a living colour, and it's great to see you, my brother. Hope that you're well. Yoka versus Hamer. Joyce is the problem. Why is it a problem? Well, let me give you some news flashes. Joe Lewis was slow. George Foreman was slow. Okay. Amir Khan was fast. Canelo, in comparison, was slow. Timing will beat speed. And Dubois is not no Muhammad Ali. So I'm not sure where Dubois 7th round KO. Don't see it, mate. Don't see it. Don't see it, mate. I don't see it. But Robert Brown, we'll see. Dubois is not fast. Dubois is not fast. Dubois is pretty predictable, and he throws the same punches all the time. And I'm talking to you about Dubois from a guy that sparred both guys. And you're still not getting it. It's all right. Hope Billy Joe Saunders never fights Canelo fight. I hope so too. I think Joyce will win as well for some reason. He faced the stiffer opposition so far. Of course he has. Okoli's fighting Glowacki for the WBO title. Let's just hope. Oh boy. Foreman hits like a truck, Joyce doesn't. Okay. All right, mate. Okay. All right. You stay there. You stay there. Coley's fighting someone. Forgot who. He's fighting Christoph Glowacki for the WBO title. I hope that Coley's got a better approach than holding and grabbing, because if Glowacki hits him on the chin, he'll knock Coley out. I'm telling you right now. Coley and Glowacki next crown of British world champion. Yeah? All right, you stay there. Just hope Glowacki don't hit him on the chin, because Glowacki can punch. Yeah? There was a reason why Usyk was moving from side to side and back was moving the way he was. They didn't want to engage with Glowacki. I think Coley could get himself knocked out if he's not careful, because you can't just keep holding and grabbing people all the time. And that last opponent he had wasn't very good. I don't want to sound like sour grapes or sound like a guy who don't like British boxing, but I just don't. I do believe there's levels to the game, and I think Okolie is a good fighter. Again, I just think that all the holding and grabbing, you're going to go so far with that. On the subject of holding and grabbing, Henry Akinwande, I understand, is in hospital. One of my contacts in boxing wanted to find out about Henry Akinwande. He says he's in hospital at the moment. I hope he's well. Okolie fights like he's in the Jack Johnson era. No, forget that. He's not in the Jack Johnson era. He's in the Henry Akinwande era. Henry Akinwande era, not the Jack Johnson era. I hope he doesn't. I hope he's able to negotiate Glowacki and not get hit on the chin. Because if he gets hit on the chin, the fight is over. You can count that now. Let me tell you now. If Glowacki is able to find that chin out of Okolie, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. It's a done deal. So let's hope Okolie can keep him on the outside, use the jab, box, time up when he needs to time up, and keep him off. And don't allow Glowacki to walk him back. If Glowacki walking back with that southpaw style and that left hand, it's not going to be a pretty sight. Not going to be a pretty sight. Okolie's right hand is improved. Against who? Against who? How have you based he's improved his right hand? What have you been sparring him to know he's improved it? Paul Logan is the man. Yeah, he probably is the man. Didn't he get flat out knocked out in sparring? Paul Logan. He's the YouTube man, and let's be honest. He's the YouTube man, to be funny, to be honest. Fair play to him. You know, that's what the people want to see. That's what the people like. Then that's what the people like, innit? Jake Paul. Yeah, Jake Paul. There we go. Who's Paul Logan then? Who the hell's Paul Logan? Jake Paul. This is Jake Paul you met, not Paul Logan. I've accepted that YouTube boxing is here to hang about for a while. I don't like it personally, but you've got to move on with the times. This is what people are like. This is what it is. So what else have we got about Tyson Roy Jones? I think that's a great fight. What is left of Mike Tyson after all these years? Can he turn back the clock? And if Mike were to cause a sensation, knock Roy out in the first round, I wonder. Yeah, this is a goal. Now we're talking about a fight. That's a fight right there. Yard, Lyndon Arthur. I think it's a very good fight. I think it's a very good fight. I think it's a very underrated fight. Because I think Lyndon Arthur showed me that he can fight when he needs to. He can grip. He's got grit. He's got determination. He's got balls. I like it. He can box. He's got a nice jab. He's got good boxing ability. This is a good fight. This is a good fight. It's an underrated fight. Want to see how Yard deals with the jab and Arthur's ability to move and switch. Arthur's going to come. He's going to come for this fight. I'm telling you. He's going to come for this fight. It's a good fight. Don't think it's a foregone conclusion. Good fight. Good fight. Good fight. I like what I see of Lyndon Arthur. I just don't like what I see of Lyndon Arthur versus Anthony Yard, because I like both guys. I hate when that happens. Fighting Floyd whilst Khan's still waiting. So, yeah, I think it's a competitive fight. I think I did my preview for that as well. Yeah, I heard Canelo's matchmakers are spot on and brilliant. Every weight he has moved up, he's won the world title. I think, yeah, I think it's brilliant because of what? Because of the guy. They know their guy. They know what their guy can do, and they know what the guy can't do. So they're like, you know what? Let's keep this guy away from anybody who's a mover and fights anything like Lara. Keep away from movers. Anyone's going to move, shoulder roll, and all that stuff, keep them away. That's why the Danny Jacobs fight. They knew Danny Jacobs was just happy to be there. What do you think of Leon Richards signing to Matchroom? He looks a good fighter and was building nicely with Frank. Well, you know how it all ends. It never ends well. It never ends well. Never ends well. You know he's going to get thrown into a world title fight or thrown under the bus sooner rather than later. Poor guy. Poor guy. You know it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. Everybody knows it's going to happen. Only a matter of time. You sign him up, fight a couple of fights, throw him under the bus. I don't care. I don't care. Anything to do with happy to be here, Jacobs, I don't care. I hope Rosado beats him. I don't want to see any of these guys fight again. I don't want to see Rosado fight again. I don't want to see Jacobs fight again. Rosado talks too much and Jacobs is just happy to be here. I just don't want to see those two fight because Rosado's going to give you all blah, 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 blah before the fight. And Jacob's going to say blah, 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 blah before the fight. And then he'll just smile and say he's happy to be here. So I don't want to see that. I'm not interested. Forget that. I'm not interested to see. I'm not watching Danny Jacobs fight again. I don't care if Danny Jacobs goes out and blasts Rosado out in the round. I don't want to see Danny Jacobs again. I'm done with Danny Jacobs. I'm done with Danny Jacobs. No. A man I do want to see fight again is Chris Eubank Jr. What is going on with Chris Eubank Jr.? He was going to fight John Ryder at one point. You know, I think the fight we should be seeing now is Chris Eubank Jr. versus Billy Joe Saunders. I think that's a fight we should be seeing now. Gonna be sad to see if Laurent gets moved into typical Matchroom path. Well, we know it's gonna happen. You know it's gonna happen. 2-3 fights, and then you're gonna get a world title shot, or you'll fight against some guy who's impossible for you to beat. You've seen it. You've seen it happen. Seen it happen. How many fighters have you seen got ruined? Kate Cheeseman. Oh, what happened to Josh Warrington? What's going on with Josh Warrington? Same thing happened to Josh Warrington. Shaka Stevenson versus Tabata Khan. LOL. Shaka Stevenson just warming up for Josh Warrington. I expect to see Josh Warrington to get thrown in against Shaka Stevenson without any warm up. That's what I expect to see. That's what I expect to see Josh Warrington get in against Shaka Stevenson. So Shaka Stevenson keep his hands warm and then fight Josh Warrington. That's what I see happening. What's your thoughts on Fury not fighting on December 5th? Spoke about it already. Due to BT Sports not having the money to pay the bill, this doesn't make sense as the fight would be paid for you. Also, Fury is BT's cash cow. Well, I spoke about it at length recently in my last video. Please go back and have a look at that. It's probably at the end of this video. What happened to Cheeseman? Apparently he's asked for too much money for Eggington rematch. Who the hell wants to see that? Eddie needs to get him out. Really? Who wants to see Egg and Cheese 2? Do you want to see Egg and Cheese 2? I don't. Right, I think I'm done. I don't think there's anything else I really need to talk about here that's of any real interest to anybody. Yeah, I think that's it, really. Has anybody else got anything to talk about? Is B, you in the house? Right. Stevenson is waiting the winner of Harrington versus Frampton at 130. He deserves a mandatory challenge for the winner. Okay, that's good to know. B, question I want to ask you. Coach Chris was telling me about a fight that happened last night, and the floppy glove reappeared, and supposedly the guy with the floppy glove got his ass kicked last night. I don't know how. That's what Coach Chris was telling me about. Could you tell me any more about that, please? Fight last night, US TV. Some guy had floppy gloves, suspicious floppy gloves last night, and he wore the floppy gloves and got the crap beaten out of him. That's what I heard. I don't know how true this is. If somebody could let me know, if you could let me know, I'd really appreciate that. That's everything, bro. I'm out. I want to know about these gloves. You know anything about the gloves last night? Apparently, Pov has pneumonia as well as COVID. You'd think he'd be ready for January date. I don't know why that date got slipped. I don't know if they realized that Dillian White probably wasn't ready. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. B, have you got anything on that for me? Oh, Miguel Romain versus Foster. All right. Can you tell me any more about it, please, B? They caught it a day before the fight. Dang! What happened? What was it? How did they catch it? That's gone under the radar. How did they catch it? And the commission replaced the gloves with Everlast ones. Ooh. Glovegate returns, eh? 1000%. Glovegate returns. Wow. I have to go and look at that fight and find out more about it. But thank you for letting me know that information. Coach Chris was fuming about it, so I'm sure you want to come in and talk about that. Right, I need to get out of here. Let's see what you're saying. Yeah, I need to get out of here. You see Rick Glazer's tweeting, say Oscar's going to sue Canelo and DAZN and how Oscar has case. No, maybe. Never heard of Alan BABIC. LOL. I'm guessing the real reason why Dubois versus Joyce is not pay-per-view is because of the Tyson Jones fight on pay-per-view on the same night. I guess so. That'd be about right. Foster's trainer was the one who caught the floppy gloves. Wow. Parker fight cancelled. Jeez. Wonder why. Okay. Anybody know Foster's trainer's name? Before the end of the year, I want to do a boxing special and get do a boxing special and get 4 or 5 people in the house and get some of you all in here and let's talk boxing for the night. That'd be fun, I think. But Parker needs to sort his career out. Manager, man, I told you need to leave that manager of his. I told you already. Wow. Anyone know what's Foster's trainer's name? Do you know? I'll do my research and look him up and see if I can find him. Right. Thank you all so much. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments, smash the like button for me as well. I really appreciate it. Who else is coming in the room? Big up to Frank Warren for doing the face-off with the dislocated shoulder. Don't know the truth. Don't know the truth. What I've heard. Dislocated shoulder. Frank's got a dislocated shoulder. Oh, his trainer's name is Bobby Benton. Okay. Baylor Ingram. What about it, mate? Bobby Benton. Right, I'm on that one. I'm definitely on that one. Get you guys in the house, do a Christmas or a lockdown special. Get you all in the house and do a yeah. Oh yeah. What I'll do now quickly, for those of you that want to be a part of that send that email over to you now. For those of you who want to be a part of that, we'll do a boxing special. Get you all in the room talking about it. We'll probably do a Joyce versus Dubois, and you can all come in and have your opinions on the fight. Are you going to go tomorrow post fight? Yeah, I think I might do the whole fight tomorrow. To be honest, may as well. Why not have a bit of fun? Yeah, I'm going to go live tomorrow night. See, I did a matchroom card tonight, so nobody can say I hate matchroom. I just can't do the BS. I'm being told, trying to sell me products that are not what they are. So yeah, there's an email just right there. I've just flashed up on the screen. There we go. Flash up on the screen. If you get across there, send your emails in. And if I get enough of you in, then I'll arrange an evening, send you a link, and we'll do a show together. If you are on YouTube, let me know your name underneath, what your name is. And then I'll send you a link before the show so you can come on and have a chat. That'd be nice. Maybe the night before or the night of Dubois versus Joyce. That'd be good. I think it'd be fun. Right. Let me get the hell out of here. I've got some FIFA to do tonight with my Leighton Orient team. Thank you all so much, as always, for your support. Much love. Smash the like button, as always. And smash the subscribe button and share the video if you can. I'm out. Take care. Thank you again also for tuning in. Really appreciate it.